Hi there, my name is Melody and I am a psychic medium. I also have ADHD and I go off on so many fucking tangents that by the end I've recorded like 30 minutes of footage and it's like I don't actually know how to condense this. So really the whole point of this video today, there's sometimes, believe it or not, there is actually points to stuff that I do. I wanted to talk to you about things that I call like wow moments. So I do a lot of teaching. I've also done a lot of training over the years, but I do a lot of teaching and I'm trying to kind of get through to a lot of people that I meet and the students and stuff like that about these things called wow moments that we all have had them, and sometimes they may seem almost insignificant to us. I want to, over a period of time, share with you my different sort of wow moments, how my spiritual journey kind of began also as well. So I'm going to try and kick it off and going to try and be as concise as possible, which is very, very difficult because I don't know how much information I need to give. Like, I can't just start like that. I have to give the backstory and then I get kind of lost in the backstory. So the backstory being, very quickly, as a child, I was always very intuitive. I had a very clear knowing about things. I saw things, I heard things, smelt things, you know, all that different sort of stuff. And then over time, when I was telling, like, say, my parents about it, they just sort of said it's in your head, it's in your imagination. So I kind of switched everything off, so to say. Fast forward then to when I was 14 years of age, I had this very, very vivid dream. I don't want to give too much details because it sort of gives what I'm going to say away, if that makes sense. But long story short, the dream was kind of based over a 3-day period. And it was significant, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday, because that was very clear in this dream. And it was basically that my granddad had a fall, took to hospital, was in a coma because he banged his head. The next day they had said that if he was to come out of the coma, he would be in like a vegetative state. So on that Wednesday in the dream, I'd asked my dad if I could have like the morning off school so I could go and visit him the next day to, you know, basically go and say goodbye. And my dad was like, no, you know, he's tough as old boots, he'll pull through, because he really was a tough character. And then the following day, again, still in the dream, feeling very unsettled throughout the day. And obviously it was all on fast forward, if you get what I mean. You know how dreams bloody work, where they kind of like don't really make any sort of sense, but it was just so vivid. And it kind of ended with around 6 o'clock Thursday evening, I'm in the kitchen just staring at the clock. My dad's girlfriend at the time was on the phone. A friend of mine had called by, kind of unannounced, and I was just waiting for the girlfriend to get off the phone because I knew that there was going to be a phone call with some news for me. But it was to do with like this answering service that we had, that she would get off the phone would ring, I would answer it, and it'd be like, this is this BT thing, you got a message. About 3 or 4 days later, so actually on the Tuesday, I'd come home from school and Mum had rang me up to say that my granddad had had a fall, hit his head, was in a coma, he was in hospital. So obviously my first thought was kind of like, well, that's a bit weird, because I dreamt that, you know, didn't think too much of it. Next day, Wednesday, when I got back from school again, Mum had rang again to basically say that the doctors have said that if he does come round from this coma, he would unfortunately be in a vegetative state. So I then was like, okay, well, I also fucking dreamt this too. So I then at that point asked my dad, could I please have the morning off next day, go and visit him in hospital, go and say goodbye. My dad said, you know, he'll pull through, he's tough as old boots. So again, it was almost like, well, that was also my fucking dream. So then the next day I'm at school and I'm like frustrated and I'm angry because I can't have the time off. And I just have this very horrible feeling of dread and doom, you know, pretty much throughout the day. And one of my friends was like, well, you know, why are you all upset? And I was just like, my granddad's going to die today. And they all thought I was fucking nuts. Anyway, kind of fast forward to the evening, my friend came round unannounced, and it was the same friend in the dream. And we were in the kitchen and I was kind of just looking at the clock and it was coming up to 6 o'clock. At this point, phone rings, my dad's girlfriend is then on the phone. And around 6 o'clock, I kind of just breathed out this very long kind of breath. I don't really know why I did it. And then she got off the phone. Within minutes, phone started ringing. It was this BT thing, message off my mum to say granddad's passed away. So that is by far the most accurate premonition I've ever had. Most accurate premonition I've ever had. I've had many, many since, but they've never been, excuse me, 100% accurate the way that I saw it on that particular time. So fast forward a few months, there was a psychic medium that lived on my nan's street, and my nan kind of knew her to say hello to. Anyway, she bumped into my nan, and long story short again, because there were always long stories with me, my nan had gone round to her house. She told her what she did about healing. She did some healing on my nan. Then she picked up that there was somebody who was young and their stomach was in knots. Obviously, it then turned out to be me. So then she was like, would she come and see me? So everyone was a bit like, this seems a bit cult-like. This lady never asked for any money, never wanted anything in return for what she did. If you wanted to buy her some lavender oil, that'd be lovely, but it was never expected. So I kind of went round there and I didn't really know what to sort of think. And we had a really good chat, and she's asked if I wanted to have some healing. So I was like, yeah, okay. So she said to me that I was a psychic medium, and I was like, what's that? And she said then about, well, you've had this dream that come true and all these things used to happen to you as a child, and it basically means that you're very psychic, you know a lot of stuff, and you have the ability to speak to spirit. So I was like, oh, right, okay. And she said about that I had this particular spirit guide, and she could see him as like an Indian chief. So I was a bit like, yeah, all right, okay, cool. So really, that's my very first kind of wow moment that I want to share with you. And I've managed to do it like really, really fast. Because I'm just trying to make these videos like shorter to get to the fucking point of what I'm kind of trying to say. So we do all have these wow moments, and sometimes even I am guilty that, because it sounds bad when I say it this way, but because I'm almost used to this way of life, it's not that I'm not in awe of it, because I am in awe of it and I don't take it for granted. But sometimes I suppose I'm already up here with the wow moment, that when I'm then saying to other people about stuff, they're like, you know, that kind of thing. And I don't mean for it to be taken for granted, because I absolutely love what I do, and I love the gifts that I've got, which we've all got some kind of gift, you know. And really, I want you to kind of start discovering your own sort of wow moments. So even if it is just something like you had a feeling about something and it ended up being true, or you had a dream about something and it ended up being true, or you had you know, you got the name of somebody in spirit and it turned out it was the grandfather of somebody that you kind of sit with, and there was no way that you sort of knew that. These are those wow moments. Some people want a miracle. They want, you know, the window to fucking blow open and 20 spirits all jumping saying boo, because to them that would be that wow moment. But I can assure you, with a lot of people, if you suddenly saw a spirit with no kind of prior understanding of anything, you'd shit a fucking brick. I can assure you of that one. You know, so really, that's kind of the purpose of this particular video, and I'm going to be sharing more of these kinds of things, obviously, over the coming sort of weeks and months and stuff like that. But I just want to reach people, and I want you to start kind of like, I suppose, digging deeper and reflecting on anything that you've already been through or witnessed yourself, that you can then turn around and be like, that was actually one of those wow moments. So the question being, why did I have that dream? Because I cannot express how frustrating it was, because I've made it sound a bit blasé. It wasn't blasé at all, you know, it really did mess with my head sort of thing. But it was just like, why am I given something like this that I can't change? I can't do anything to change it. I can't get anybody to listen to me. I can't make a difference. I can't prevent him from kind of falling over, and all these kind of things that I can't fucking do, you know. And what this medium had said to me at the time is that, unfortunately, sometimes we get given these kinds of things almost as proof to ourselves that this is what you're capable of, or this is the communication channel that you actually do have. You just need to learn how to kind of use it. So thank you so much for watching. It's really nice that you're all enjoying these kinds of videos and stuff like that. And I'll be uploading some more content very similar to this. Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.